Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm sitting down with Mr. Bill Shafer, his representative from the Launch Pad Kickoff Tee. Coach, I appreciate you so much for joining my little lonely podcast here.
Our pleasure, Steve. Anytime.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? If anybody doesn't know who you are, where you're from, your background, anything like that.
Okay, I played a little college ball. I was a wrestler in high school. I was very small. But after the Navy, I got a ride at Akron U, played for Jerry Faust, formerly of Notre Dame. And
Hmm.
then after that, I coached all the way from Pee Wees all the way up to high school. And even in the semi-pros, I was a general manager of a team. But I've always loved to kick a football since I was 12 years old, back in 1972. Okay, that's how old I am, Steve. And that's
No,
my
no,
Oh yeah,
not
yeah,
that
yes.
old.
I was 12. Thank you. 12 years old. I had a ball, a barefoot, and a telephone wire, and that's all it took to get me hooked on kicking. So I've always loved kicking and punting a football.
Yeah, I can't say the same. I hurt my foot too much. Big offensive lineman trying to do a punt or something hurt my foot because I kick with the toe straight up. You're not supposed to
Oh,
do that.
no, no. Hey, kudos to you for trying though. Kicking is part of football, and football players should at least try to kick and punt. So there you go.
Well, it was that camp open thing, like, let's see who can just punt. And then if
Sure.
you're offensive lineman, you don't touch the ball unless you're a center. So you're like, let me try. And then you punt it with your toe and you feel like you broke your toe and you're like, I'm done. Not gonna do
See,
this.
but that's a great point. That is a very great point because those open tryouts, even if a team has open tryouts for kicking and punting, there are guys out there walking around that don't know that they can kick and punt. And so, having something like that, the coach and the player sometimes can really discover something about themselves that can help them and the team.
Well, like I'm jumping down a rabbit hole here. When Mike Leach was at Texas Tech and they had Michael Crabtree and they beat Texas with that throw, their kicker, their field goal kicker, he won that in a competition during the halftime of one of their Texas Tech games. They had a competition where, they bring people on the field and it was, if you make this field goal, you win like a year worth of rent.
I
And
love,
so
I love it.
he won and Mike Leach was like, "Let me bring that kid over here." And they tried him out just kicking and he was really good at it. So they gave him a scholarship, he was so good at it, and he was
Oh
just from the
my,
stands.
isn't
Like,
that something? You just never know, do you? People have skills, and if you give people a chance, it's amazing what you can discover.
yeah, so he got a scholarship for free college and 3 years of rent, so his parents must have been very happy with
I would
that.
say so, yes. That's a great story, man.
Um, so you came up with this launch pad kickoff tee.
Mhm.
Um, I kinda coach a little bit of kickers. Like I said, I learned the toe thing. I've learned how to kinda help punters out, my time. Um, I've been mainly coaching offensive line and offensive coordinator and stuff. So you came up with this launchpad kickoff tee. How did you come up with it? Like, what was like, I'm going to create this, or
Okay,
how'd you
so
go
great
along?
question. I mean, I was here in Massillon, Ohio, home of the Tigers. Paul Brown,
Hmm.
who founded the Cleveland Brown, he's from here. Okay,
Hmm.
so I mean, this is and he invented many things. So we're kind of like that here in Massillon. We're always looking for better ways to improve the game of football with equipment and procedures and all kinds of, So we're sitting around obsessing on kicking and punting like we normally do about 10 years ago. The co-inventor, Coach David Abdul and myself, we're sitting here and we're watching a Pittsburgh Steelers game against the Cleveland Browns, and we noticed Gary Anderson. I don't, you're too young to remember Gary Anderson, Coach, I would imagine.
Did he coach or did he kick for the Vikings at some point?
I think he might have, yes. He had the single bar face mask.
Hmm.
Excellent, excellent kicker. But this guy was leaning the ball forward for field goals. He had his holder lean the ball forward, and we were just thinking about that. Why? Because that's completely counterintuitive to what we've been taught about kicking a football our entire lives. But what this does is it exposes the sweet spot, especially off the ground or the lower the ball is. It exposes the sweet spot, and the trajectory of your foot goes right through the meat of the ball. And Gary Anderson knew this, and he used this technique to become one of the top kickers of his time. I think when he retired, he probably was at the top of his game. So we looked at this and we determined that there was no kickoff tee essentially that would allow a forward lean but for your ball set on a kickoff. So we started doing some experimenting, and we took a shoe. You can tell me if I just shut on. We cut it up with some shears, and we took duct tape, and we made a prototype that would allow the mounting apparatus to be on the front, so you could lean the ball forward, but it would allow for a quick release. It worked like magic. We could not believe it, and so that's how the Launch Pad Kickoff Tee was born. We started doing some modeling and some molding, and made a perfected product, and now it's patented and is being sold all over the United States, all over the world.
Well, that's pretty cool that it came from a shoe, and then now it's this.
That's American ingenuity. It truly,
Yeah.
truly is. It's just we're always open to like the next idea and how to improve on what the state of the art currently is. So that's basically what you're looking at, is an improvement on the old state of the art.
Right, and then, like, I was gonna ask what makes that tea so special than other teas? Like, when I was in high school, you had that old school, just it's gonna lean the ball in, and it sits there,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's a great question, Coach. I really appreciate that, and I'll try to make this as simple as possible, because I could go on for hours on this, because it's just so amazing. But this is an old style tee, and this is the Kick 6
Mhm.
from Under Armour. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. This part of the tee is exactly the same as basically every tee for the last 25 to 30 years. It's a cup that holds the ball. See
Mhm.
that? Okay. And it offers, nice access to the ball, and you have a limited range of leans that you can't do a forward lean or the ball falls forward. You can do like a backward, but it has a limited range, and it's held inside a cup. Those two aspects is completely different. Launchpad, first of all, is not a cup. Please note, you can see the entire football,
Mhm.
nothing hidden. And not only can you see it, you have access. You can do a wedge kick for
Mhm.
onsides that you can't do with these other tees, or you'll experience impact injury and hurt yourself or injure yourself. So that's one of the main differences. But the other difference is this tee, this angulation, Coach. This is a forward lean if you want to kick this way. If you want the best backward lean in the business, look at that.
Mhm.
You cannot do that with
Right.
other tees. And so really that's the main difference, is this offers 360 degrees all the way around of angulation. And just this set alone, when your foot comes through, this set is designed to launch the ball straight up for maximum hang time, and to come down around the 10-yard line, so that you can trap a team way inside the 20 or the 15. So I hope that explains. That's the main difference. More angles, and it's completely flexible. And there's never been anything like it. You can see the difference. It's not a cup.
Mhm.
It's an actual platform that allows you to see the entire ball.
Yeah, because the old school ones when I was in high school, it just leaned one way, and that was it. If you tried to
That was
move it,
it.
it was gonna fall or do something, like, it leaned back, and that was it. That was it.
Yep. Yep. And actually, the Ground Zero and the Total T Champion owns these currently. And this is like I said, this is the Under Armour version. But they all do the same thing. And these were actually an improvement over the tee that you're talking about. Those old orange tees with the little
Mhm.
prongs stuck up, right? You
Yeah.
ever step on one of those, by the way? If you're
Yes.
running in the field, yeah, I was a barefoot kicker, and stepping on one of those when you're going during a return or something, ooh, that hurts. And same thing with this. But this was an improvement over those tees. We believe, and it's our claim, this is an improvement over all of these cup-based style tees. Next
And
generation.
then they can be worked on with, like, onside kicks too. Like, and then how does it help you with onside kicks too? Because that's something I'm fascinated with I actually am, like, in coaching, I think you ignore some of that stuff, like, "Oh, you just kick it off the ground and it bounces up." Like, it takes a lot
Yeah,
of technique and practice and all that,
and luck.
and luck.
Exactly. And then coaches looked at it that way. That's a great question and important observation, because it takes the ball's got to touch the ground. It's got to be placed right. And then it takes luck, to actually pull off the typical onside kick until now. Okay, those days are over. Brandon Kornblue of Kornblue Kicking, he works with the NFL and NCAA. He chooses the Fab 50. He's very well known in the kicking game. He calls this the best onside kickoff tee that he has ever seen, and for very good reason. Very good reason, Coach. The Ground Zero came out with the onside kickoff notch. Have you seen this thing? Right as it's on the.
Yeah.
The Under Armour version is there. It's not as I don't want to say it's not as good, but it's not as broad. It doesn't offer as many options as the Ground Zero does. But this is the tee that we have here, and it does offer that. A launch pad with the front of our mounting apparatus, you get that on steroids. You can lean it this way, you can lean it that way, you can do all kinds of things, first of all. But second of all, Coach, we when somebody orders a Launch Pad Kickoff Tee, it comes with this unique ball set chart, okay? And I don't know, I'll put that in close so you can just get a shot of it if you want to take a screenshot. But the point is that, for instance, in the middle here, these are dial-in squib kicks. You can dial it up just by moving the ball up to a coarse roller, or you can move it down to get a fine roller. And there are reasons for doing these different types of kicks that are not available on other tees. And just to demonstrate how easy this is, if you're kicking this direction, this is your direction, right? Here's your coarse rolling squib, right? Oh, you want a little finer? You want it a little finer? You can get yourself a perfect roll. It's just whatever you want to do. And it works the same way for a right-footed or a left-footed kicker. It's amazing. The squib options alone on this tee, along with the onside opportunities, unparalleled. And it simply comes down to more ball set angles because of these highly flexible fins and how wide they are. It's just an amazing array of kicks that were never available before.
And let you play around with how you want to lay it down. Like, you don't need a separate tee to lay it a certain way. It does it all at once.
It's like better kickoff long ball tees, and then there are other tees that are better onside tees. But that's a giveaway to your opposition. This is all in one. And many times the opposition can't tell what you're doing with the variety of these sets. It's an amazing elimination of the limitations that used to exist.
Right. So what would your advice be when a coach is developing a kicker and they're trying to kick it into the end zone? Because I know as a coach, when it kicks to the end zone, you're clapping, you're cheering because they're not returning the ball.
Sure.
So how would you help out with a kid trying to accomplish that?
Okay, so there's a couple ways of looking at that. One is if a kid already knows how to kick and he's a decent kicker and he's already been developed as a kicker, the Launch Pad Kickoff Tee offers a forward lean. And like we were talking, we have, and you can see, and by the way, we encourage your audience and anybody that's looking at the Launch Pad to go to Instagram and Twitter, and especially Instagram, to look at some of these clips that these guys are sending into us, because they are instantaneously getting 10 or more yards and a half a second more hang time just by using this tee. And it's amazing to us. So what was your question, Coach? I forgot. What was the main point of your question here?
So, like, how would you develop kickers to try to get into the end zone?
Yes, that would be it. Thank you for when you're as old as I am, this stuff, I get come in the room sometimes and forget what the heck I came in here for. But the forward lean will actually give them extra distance and extra hang time. We just recently, within the last 6 months, we got an order from a guy who was a dad, and he bought one of our Launch Pad Kickoff tees for his and the punter for this team here in Akron, Ohio. And because that's right around the corner from us, I contacted them and said, you know what, we would love to come out and meet with you guys and just see how things work. Well, when we got out there, the kid said, hey man, I don't see any difference between how a kicking tee can make any difference between how a person kicks the ball. This is what the kid said coming into the session. So we said, okay, that's fair enough. Fair enough. So we had him take a couple of kicks, get himself warmed up off it, and he was using the skills tee. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's like a knockoff of the ground zero. Same basic principle, but he was using the skills tee. And he did, he's a good kicker. He did very well. Got to the right there, just to the goal line and about one deep, but consistently right there for about five kicks or so. We put him on the launch pad, and his first kick buried it out of the back of the end zone. And I turned around, I looked at his dad, and I said, "Hey, man, this is not me. That wasn't me, was it?" And he said, "Nope, nope." Since then, he has just signed a letter of intent with Howard University, and he is thrilled as he can be. He's got a full ride, and he's ready to go for the next 4 years.
That's crazy that
Yeah,
helped him out so much.
we're so excited to be a part. That's what we're about, Coach. I mean, I'm very happy in life that this is something that just happened for us. It's a hobby, and we love kicking and punting, and this is something that we discovered. But I mean, I don't need for this to succeed. But the fact that we can help kids and athletes that are motivated, and help teams that really are motivated in the sport that we love to excel and perform beyond what they expected, man, I'll tell you what, that gets me going. Really does.
So this might be a stupid question because I'm stupid simple. I think when you lean the ball forward, it's gonna go straight, if that makes sense. When you lean it back and you kick it, that's what's gonna make it go up.
Yeah.
So can you explain to someone who's stupid like me, when you lean it forward, what causes it when you lean it forward to make it go that far? If that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes, it totally does. And I will tell you, I love people that are not afraid to ask stupid questions. I love that, Coach, because there's no such thing. If there's a film, I'll pump this film just for a second. The 8-minute film on YouTube. You look it up, and I hope your audience looks it up. It's called "Why Stupid People Think They're Smart." Okay. And the reason is because they're afraid to ask questions. They're afraid to admit that they don't know something, and they don't ask questions so that they can learn and get better and better and better. And so your willingness to ask a question like that, Coach, that's solid, man. We really appreciate that. Okay. So here's the whole thing. This is why the forward lean works. Now, the forward lean, you can't be a bad kicker and not know how to kick and then just step into the forward lean. Okay. You wouldn't take Porsche 911 to the DMV for your driving test. Okay.
Right.
You got to work your way up to Formula One. Okay. That's
Right.
what this is. Okay. But if you are an accomplished kicker and you are in control of yourself and you know how to work this thing out, I want to show you the difference in physics. Okay. When you're kicking the ball, typically, this is a typical setup for a kickoff. All right. Let's go this way. You see this?
Yep.
This is your sweet spot. This is the trajectory of your foot. Okay. The trajectory of your foot is basically that far. It's like 6 inches with a backward lean right in there. Very crude demonstration. With a forward lean, the trajectory, see that? You
Yep.
got to move it out. The trajectory, the segment of your trajectory of your foot is longer, which means more of the power and energy from your foot goes into the ball. It catches the meat of the ball. That power transfer is significant. And we've had engineers and people in science look at this and agree with us. And then we've also had kickers on the field because you're right. It seems counterintuitive. We've all seen Charlie Brown and Lucy, and they set up the ball and it's leaning, okay, go ahead and kick it, leaning backwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why does leaning the ball forward? Well, so that's what makes that a great question. And there's your answer. The segment is longer with a forward lean. The key is hitting the sweet spot, which is more accessible than a forward lean. Hope that answers your question.
It does, because when I was a young coach, I thought I knew everything. So I wouldn't ask that question. I'd be like, I know how to kick. You just go up there and kick it. Or I know how to throw a football. I accepted years ago. I know nothing. So if I don't ask, I don't know. And I want to be corrected. Like I'd rather say something and be wrong and someone correct me so then I learn like, okay, that was
Sure.
wrong, if that makes sense.
I love that. I love that. That's from the book of Proverbs, man. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And you have to make yourself available and vulnerable, to not knowing something, to be instructed and move on up. It's called coachability, and I absolutely love that. Love that.
Because me being who I am, like you said, it's counterintuitive. Like lean forward, it goes farther. If you lean it back, it won't. To me, it looks like the opposite. So that's why I was curious when you showed the lean forward. I was like, wait, what? Like, what
Yeah,
are you talking about?
exactly. And I encourage you and your audience to go to Instagram, Launch Pad Kickoff Tee, or you can go to Twitter at Launch Pad Kick Tee. You can find us on Facebook, and the films of kickers. Kickers continue from we've got professional guys in the NFL and from the indoor leagues. We've got guys from college, guys across the country in high school. We've got guys from Japan, Australia, the UK, all throughout Europe that are sending us their film in complete amazement. And they all say the same thing you're saying, Coach. It doesn't seem like it would work. But once they got out there, it's amazing the performance advantages that they're getting with the launch pad.
And another thing I think you taught me was there's a science behind this. Like there's an actual like mathematical science thing, which is not my alley. That's not my thing, is math or science, but there is something to it with this.
Yeah, there definitely is. And forgive me, but I'm going to hold this up again and let's see
Hmm.
if we can get this right. This is on the ball set chart. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, you've got two segments there. You see how one is longer than the other?
Hmm.
It's just that simple. More of your energy is in the ball with a forward lean because that segment of your trajectory is longer. Now, that's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. You can't just get this thing and set it up and bang it. You
Hmm.
actually, the thing is, the sweet spot is here, right? But when you have a forward lean, it's actually up here. It moves up. See, it moves up.
Hmm.
Can you see that? And
Yeah.
so what happens, especially like in deep grass or anywhere else, the sweet spot is more accessible. So a kicker really, and this is why it takes a kicker that knows what he's doing. He has to make a conscious decision to move his strike point up here, but it's against what he's used to. It's against what he's used to. The problem is sometimes this is their point of their reference. The point of reference is the top of this tee in relation to the sweet spot. Well, you've got some of the ball there. All of the ball is exposed here, so it looks like the sweet spot should be here when it's actually here. It's just more accessible. I hope that makes sense, and I
It
hope that
does.
you could see that. Okay, it's because when you make that adjustment, like it's truly amazing. Go to again, go to Instagram. You see Ryan Santoso. He's with the Montreal Alouettes currently, and he's been around the NFL. He's going to get a gig in the NFL, this guy. Okay. He takes a 3-step approach and he gets a 4.3 hang time 3 yards deep in the end zone. It's just incredible. Never seen anything like it before.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very impressed, and we're just so happy to continue to get films like them. And so that's what we do. We when people order the launch pad, we send them the ball set chart, we send them a launch pad, and then we send them also an invitation that once you start crushing in the variety of ways that you can, that you send us film back so that we can enjoy the party, which we do.
Right. Um, so how does somebody get this? Like if somebody one thing I like about this podcast, I'm gonna jump down this other rabbit hole is I may not have a ton of listeners like Joe Rogan, but if there's a young coach out there, somebody up and coming, if it helps one person out, I'm all for it. So if somebody listens to this or watches this and says, I want that, I want to get that, it will help out. How would they get their hands on it?
Yeah, thanks, Coach, for asking that. The easiest way is to go to our website, www.launchpadkickoff.com. It's just that simple. launchpadkickoff.com. And currently, we've got some coaches specials because the seasons are mostly over. And so it's time to re-gear, right? So we've got some specials out there where you save 25% on a 2-pack. You can save 33% on a 4-pack. We don't like to give away too many secrets. Princeton was the first team to jump on board the 4-pack. And so you might appreciate it. We called Coach. We called, I forget our coach's name. I'll remember in a minute. And we called him. We said, Coach, is it true that Albert Einstein used to play backup long snapper for the JV taxi squad back in 1920 for Princeton? And he said, no, I didn't know that was. I never heard that before. Now, we're not sure that was true. We still have our research people out looking for that one, Steve. We're not sure about that, but it made sense that his Spirit still had a 4-pack, saved 33%, and now Princeton kickers are enjoying access to the sweet spot in a variety of strategic kicks that they never knew existed before.
So it's just that simple to go get it at your guys' website.
It's just that simple on launchpadkickoff.com.
Well, Coach, this has been great. I learned a lot already in the 26 minutes.
Nice.
I've never coached special teams really besides punt return or something, or the shield part of punting.
Sure.
But this taught me a lot because I never thought, do coaches neglect kickers? Maybe they don't research this type of stuff. Maybe they just think they're going to go out and kick. I'd be that kind of person. Like, oh, I get a little bit of it, but I don't know everything.
Yeah, I don't want to push your 26-minute podcast into like 30 minutes, but that is a hot button you just pushed on right there, and I don't want to say that coaches neglect their kickers, because being a coach at the high school and college level is one of the most demanding jobs ever. Even if you're just one of the assistant coach, if you're one of the assistant coaches, it's a very demanding off hours thing. And we get that. And there's a lot to think about. We take the heat off of you if you're a coach by giving you options that are easy, and you don't need a blue chip kicker. Great if you've got one, but most teams don't. If you don't have a blue chip kicker and you're looking for an advantage, the Launch Pad is exactly what you need. We show you how to do it, and we're very, very excited about it.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. That was great. I learned a lot already. If anybody out there listens that goes and gets it, I hope they do. And I hope they learn something too. If I can help out somebody out there from this podcast from what you just said, it's all worth it to do something like that.
Yeah, I feel the same way, man. I really appreciate that. It's like one beggar finding bread and then just showing other beggars where he found it. I love that.
Yeah, I call this free therapy too. It's helping people out. It's free therapy during this COVID quarantine time that we're in right now.
Nice. Hey, socially distance, isolate out on a field with a Launch Pad Kickoff Tee. You'll thank me for it.
Well, and here in Illinois, first practice is February 15th, so they still got time if they want to get one, because we're going to be in the snow. We're going to be in the snow, so we're going to need some type of advantage if we're kicking in the snow up here.
If you're kicking in the snow, the Launch Pad will make access to the sweet spot that much easier.
Yeah, because here in the Chicagoland, we'll have snow by then. I guarantee it. It's snow and ice.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot imagine. Can't imagine.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to do this. Guys, go check out the website and get yourself a kickoff tee, especially in Illinois, before the season starts. And we'll see everybody next time, and stay safe.